Hello there folks, welcome back to the Chap's Guide. My name is Ash and I am your host on this journey through men's style, self-development and personal grooming. Now today I'm going to offer you 6 things that I think every man should do at least once in his life. And I've been up here at my tent, my campsite for a few days now, and I've used the opportunity to do a bit of thinking about the things which I think are valuable and attractive in men and what they should do to strengthen their character. Because at 55 years of age, I've spent almost all of my working life in service. Initially in the military, latterly in the law enforcement world. And I've come to believe that the measure of a man is not to be judged by the amount of wealth which he accumulates, or how loudly he shouts when in the presence of others, or how finely he dresses. Whilst it's true, and I make no apologies for it, I enjoy the occasional lapse into luxury myself. It is not the most important thing about the way that we judge an individual. It is more about the quiet, deliberate choices which we make as we go through life, which strengthen our resolve and allow us to better serve those around us, either our family, our friends, or even the people we encounter through our professional lives. It's important stuff. Through my work here on YouTube, and as a professional public speaker, and as a well-being trainer within the charity sector, I meet many men between the ages of kind of 20 and 70 and 80 and beyond. I've met people from all demographics of life. And some things I've noticed, lots of these men are searching for something, particularly in this modern world, which can be a little vacuous, where life in the Western world comes to us quite easily, not like it did in the past, where men had to graft hard and use every minute of every day just for survival. For the first time in human existence, we have far more leisure time than we have work time in our lives. And I find many men are searching for something valuable and important to do with that time. And they're not searching for riches, they're not searching for the frippery of life. They're searching for contentment, for peace and for dignity. So if you're one of those folks, I offer you these 6 things which I think every man should do, or at least try to do, on his life journey, which will shape him, make him a deeper individual, make him a better version of himself. So, what have I got on my list? Now, some of my tips here are things which are not going to be a surprise to you because you've witnessed me doing these things on the channel. And the first one I am doing right now. I recommend that all men should take the opportunity to spend time completely alone and completely off-grid. Right? And there is something sacred about being unreachable in life. There's no mobile phone, there's no Wi-Fi, there's no internet, there's no inbox that you have to service. There is no obligation that you are under in life. It's just you, the land beneath your feet, nature all around you, and the thoughts in your mind, which sometimes all of those other distractions serve to help you avoid facing up to those thoughts. And it can be anything. It can be a solo hike through the nature. It can be a weekend camping away. It can be, wild camping in the wilds of Vermont or Canada or the Lake District or wherever you live. There's going to be national parks that you can get out to, pitch a tent and just literally switch off. Because spending time alone, solitary, amongst nature, allows you to confront those thoughts which you might have been pushing to the back of your mind. And when you do that, without ego, right, without constant distraction, you can face up to some of those things which might have been on the back burner and have been waiting to come to the surface of your mind. And many men can find the truth that they are looking for when they spend time alone, off the grid, with nothing else to draw their attention. Now, my next tip is not going to be a surprise to people who watch this channel because it is this. Every man should learn to dress with purpose. And I don't say this lightly, all right? Because, men should realize that dressing well is not about, servicing your Instagram feed with great pictures of you looking good, or about chasing trends. It is about dressing with intention. And that intention has got a number of different things. It is about you primarily. It's not about you seeking validation from other people. You're not just dressing for show. When you learn how to dress with purpose, you understand that you are dressing with intention, and that is for your own self-respect, your own dignity, the way that putting on a well-fitted suit makes you feel. And you learn skills to do that. You learn how to polish your shoes properly. You learn how to iron a shirt. You learn about buying a well-tailored suit. You get to know a local tailor who looks after you, who makes you look your best in the clothes that you have. Because when you do that, you're telling the world around you that you give a damn, not just about the way you look, but the person that you are. And it says to people, I am somebody who can be relied upon, not just to dress myself well, because let's be honest, these days men don't. I often see men wearing, shorts and Crocs and printed t-shirts around the streets in their 40s and 50s. And my first thought is, my God, man, have you no self-dignity to dress like a 15-year-old when you're 50? So when you learn how to dress well with purpose and intention, you are telling the world something about you, something very important and very valuable. Now, my next tip for you that I believe a man should do at least once, maybe even a few times in life. I do this at least once, sometimes twice every year, and that is travel alone to a foreign country, without the family, without the support net that you're used to having around you when you go on your annual summer holiday. I mean, I don't know if you're like me, but my wife enjoys all of the admin and the booking of flights and transfers and this, that and the other. And I just generally have to turn up, which is quite a pleasant experience. But it takes away some of my self-confidence that I can travel independently without somebody, your secretary, your personal assistant, your wife, whoever it may be, doing all of the booking for you. And for me, it's really important to leave my comfort zone every so often. Now, I say travel alone to a foreign country, there are some caveats there. I don't mean go to a resort in Spain, put your feet up, drink a cocktail and have a great time. That's no more difficult than being at home. What I mean is, go to a country which maybe you haven't been to before, that you don't speak the language, that you don't know your way around, because it's going to test you a little, right? You're going to have to navigate your way around a public transport system where there's a foreign language as the primary way of communication. You're going to have to go into restaurants, order food off a menu that is unfamiliar to you. And these are all enriching things that a man can and should do every so often. It allows you sometimes, right, to sit at a cafe on a square somewhere and, not scrolling through your phone, but watching the world unfolding around you. You're imbibing deeply of the culture of another nation. Now, I do this every year. I mean, in February this year, I went to the Netherlands, and in October of this year, I'm going to Canada. Admittedly, not that much of a foreign country. The language is spoken, we've got the same king and all that sort of thing, but it's somewhere I haven't been for a long time. And it feels a little bit out of my comfort zone to go to another place, different cultures. But my God, is it enriching? When you get back, you bring back memories and thoughts. You've observed life in another country. Some of it has been imprinted on you, different ideas and things that you can employ in your own life. So give it a try. Get out of your comfort zone. Go to a country, a foreign country that you haven't been to before. Go there alone, and just take it on. Now, this next one is an interesting one, and it's a bit more healing and philosophical, and that is write a letter to your younger self. It's going to sound weird. I understand. You're looking at me skeptically, all right? But it might sound as if I'm being a bit sentimental or a bit, uncomfortable to be doing something like this. But trust me, it's worth doing. I gave this a try last year when I went to a thing called Talk Club, and there was some discussion about how we can forgive ourselves for perhaps the life that we'd led up to this point. And you don't have to be, in a bad place to do this. You can be just a very happy, contented person, but it's worth doing. What I suggest you do is find a quiet place, take out a pen, a notebook, bit of paper, not a keyboard. All right, there's something totally different about writing things down with a pen on paper. Connects the mind to the hand to the paper. It's very different. You get a lot more emotional unleashing when you do paper and pen rather than keyboards or other such digital technology. And write a letter to yourself. Maybe pick an age. Imagine you're writing to your 16-year-old self from the position that you are right now in your life. You might be 40, 50 years, 30 years, 20 years more advanced than that 16-year-old that you're about to write to. But write an honest, compassionate letter to the young version of you based on what you know right now. Tell the younger you what they've got to face and how you dealt with it and how you got through the problems and the issues that stood in front of you between that age when you're writing to yourself and where you are now. Think of yourself as providing mentorship to the younger you, and you'll be amazed that through that process of writing, you're going to reconnect with parts of yourself which you've long forgotten. You might have buried away, put in that locker and thrown away the key because you don't want to remember it because they were difficult thoughts. But actually, looking in hindsight at the life that you've lived, you can forgive yourself for a few things. You can remind yourself that life wasn't that easy. Look at yourself with kinder eyes, and it can be a really cathartic process to chuck all this out, get it off your soul, get it down on a bit of paper. Imagine you're writing to the younger you, and that you at that age can use your writing as a map to a better version of yourself, and it'll be really enjoyable. And it's just something you can get off your chest and put behind you. I tried it, and it is a really enriching experience. Now, my next tip for you is one which is not that difficult to do, but actually a lot of people shy away from, and that is to serve other people at least once in your life, or over a period in your life, without any form of recognition. Because we live in an era, let's be honest, where, everybody's obsessed with self-promotion. If you're a celebrity, or even if you're a local politician on the local council, if you do anything which is considered to be sort of commendable within the community, they have to have it splashed over their social media platforms. It's almost like they wouldn't do it unless they could get recognition for it. And we shouldn't have that mindset, all right? Because many of you watching this, you're going to be maybe advanced in years. You might be in your 30s, your 40s, your 50s. You've come to a point in life where you're comfortable, right? You've got a home, you've got a bit of comfort, you've got a family, you've got a steady income. And you come to a point where you think, well, I'm happy. I'm going to sort of, build the barriers around what I've got, and other people, they got to take their own chances in life because, I've worked hard to get where I am. Or do you take the more mature approach and think to yourself, well, I've done okay, but there are other people out there who need a leg up. I can help them maybe have a better version of their own lives just by giving away something of mine, my time being the most important thing. And I think there's something which brings enormous dignity in helping other people when you seek no recognition yourself. I know somebody who in his own town, just with his young child, goes out and picks up the rubbish, takes a bag out with him, picks up the rubbish in his local community where people have strewn, fast food wrappers or cigarette packets and things like that. And he does it, he brings it home, puts it in his own bin. He doesn't want any recognition. He just does it because it's his little contribution to making his community look better. He doesn't know anybody knows that he does this. I know he does it, and I always say, well done, buddy. You're doing something which I wouldn't do. And it can be other things. It can be volunteering in a little charity, or just doing small, little things, but doing it without any seeking of recognition. If you can do that, you're a bigger man than most around you. And it will bring you that sense of self-confidence, and you will discover a quiet dignity within yourself, which many other people never get to. So do something to serve others without seeking recognition in your life. It can be tiny things, it can be big things. But if you do that, at least once in your life, or over a period in your life, you're on the track to being a good man. Now, my last tip for you, quite a short one, but it's really valuable, really important, and it's something a lot of people avoid in their lives. And that is, do something that scares you for the purpose of your personal growth. It can be anything, can't it? What are you worried about? Speaking in front of other people? Apologizing to people for something that you've done wrong in the past? It can be anything. If it scares you a little bit, it's important that you give it a go. And it doesn't have to be something frightening. It can be something that you would feel perhaps uncomfortable doing. Maybe there's a guy in your workplace, a young man, who reminds you a bit of you when you were younger. And, he's not doing so well. He's maybe struggling in his job. You don't know if he's going to stick out this profession. Well, why don't you approach him and offer him a bit of mentoring? It can be a bit frightening, can be a little scary to do that, to approach somebody and offer to give of yourself to them. But believe me, when you do something a little frightening, it'll make you grow, as well as, in this instance, helping that person. It can be facing up to a fear that you've had. Public speaking can be any number of things, can't it? Running a marathon. Give it a go. Why not? Because let me tell you, fear in manageable doses is the forge on which great men are made. And all you've got to do is try something that makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable. It doesn't have to be climbing Mount Everest. It can be just going out for an overnight camp somewhere. You tick a few of the other boxes I've talked about here. But it will build resilience, humility, and it'll make you a better version of yourself. And it's something that many people never have the strength of character to try, because they see something which frightens them, they turn the other way, and they take another direction. But if you can embrace that challenge, great riches lie at the other side of the experience. Give it a go. Do something that scares you. You'll be amazed at the growth which will follow. Now, my list today has not been exhaustive. There are many more things that men can do. But if you embrace these 6 suggestions, you engage with them, and you get through them, the you which emerges at the other end will be a different version of the you that you are today. You will be richer, deeper, stronger, have greater resilience, and have a greater understanding of who you are now and the journey that you've come on from the younger you. And in a world which is obsessed with superficial people, it's all about the smile and the Botox and, the fat jabs and all this sort of thing. Being a genuine, real man who experiences life, takes it on the chin and embraces it, it makes you so much better than the men around you today who really don't try that hard to be the best version of themselves. I hope something I said today has touched a nerve. Give it a try. What have you got to lose? Nothing here costs money. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it, subscribe for more, and if you want to come on this journey with me as a patron and get extra video content from me, the link is in the show notes below. I'd love to have you along. And if you would like to ask me a question, think of me as your Uncle Ash, a bloke who's lived a bit of life, been on a few journeys, been down a few of these tangents, and will be prepared to give you my observations on thoughts on queries that you may be facing. Drop it in. I'd love to hear from you. Until the next time we meet, get out there and try at least one of these things in the next month, and you will be a better you. Until then, take care.
I'm tired of waiting. How long have I been waiting here to hear the sound of your wings? Leave it